Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to share with you my no pantry organization. So we live in a pretty typical split foyer home, and these types of homes, their kitchens are kind of small and they don't typically have pantries, and so we don't have one, and I have to use the cabinets that I have in my kitchen as pantry storage. So I knew lately that my pantry was really needing some organization and some help. So whenever I was like trying to bake something, if I would try to pull the baking soda out, I would knock over my measuring cups, and then when I would get home from the grocery store, I would just kind of like shove the cans and the boxes in the cupboard wherever they could get to. So it was kind of just becoming unfunctional, not functional anymore. And so I just went through and I redid it, and I actually moved things around in my kitchen to make it a lot more functional. And anyways, I'm gonna take you along as I go through all of the steps and then show you the after. We also had some medicines from our linen closet that I wanted to add into the kitchen so that they would be just easily accessible. And so I went through all of these. I got rid of anything that was expired and just that we weren't using anymore. And I had a pile of things to get rid of. And then the rest I just pared down and added to the cupboards. So at this point, I was basically playing musical chairs with my dishes and my pantry items. I pulled out a few plates and cups that we use on a pretty regular basis, and so I wanted to have them with our daily dishes. But then I had all these sets of china and just nice dishes that we don't use very often, so I decided to put them in the cabinet in the far corner that just isn't super accessible, and that way I don't have to, it doesn't get in the way when I'm trying to do different things in the kitchen. Once all of the food was taken out of this cabinet, then I decided to put in my pots that I use on a regular basis up on the top shelf. So it was down in this little cabinet, which was always kind of awkward to get to. It's just a really narrow cabinet. So I instead put it way up here on the top shelf that it's just easier to get to when I want to cook. And then I also have all of our plates and bowls and glasses here so that they're just easy to get to as well. Next up, I got all of my baking supplies organized in the pantry, and I have been married for 13 years but have never actually owned a complete set of airtight containers for my baking supplies. So I bit the bullet and I went ahead and purchased this 4-piece set from Walmart. I believe it was $27, which is actually a pretty good deal. I was thinking that they would be cheaper than that, but I saw some for like $40 and $50, and this just seemed like the best deal. So I went ahead and purchased these and washed them out, and then transferred all of my baking supplies into these containers, and I'm loving how it's looking now. this jar for years. It was a Christmas gift when I was teaching, and I absolutely love this jar, but I've always used it just as sugar, but now I'm finally using it as a cookie jar. I love how this little cabinet turned out. This is my baking cabinet. So I have all my mixing bowls up on top, and then I have my sugar, brown sugar, powdered sugar, and flour in the middle. And then down below I have all of my other like little things that you use on a regular basis. And I put them in order of how often I use them. So some things I use on a regular basis, those are up front, and the things that I don't use very often, like the cornstarch, those are in the back, and it's proven to work out really well. I've had it this way for a couple of weeks now, and I'm absolutely loving how much easier it is and how I don't, knock everything down when I'm trying to get stuff. I also wanted to show you where I keep my spices. So I don't have a really complicated system. I just put them in this bin, and I just pull out the ones that I want to use whenever I need to use them, and it works for me. So this is now where I keep all of our everyday dishes and then pots and pans, and I keep our lids in a basket next to it so that it's just easy to get to. And I definitely needed more space for these items because the other cabinet was just getting a little crowded. So this is working out really, really well. And then next to that cabinet is where I was keeping all of our like fine china and really nice dishes, but I ended up moving all of those out, or most of them out, and then just replacing it with my boxed items on top, and then a lot of my canned goods and jars in the middle shelf, and some things that I use on a regular basis like the peanut butter. And then below that is just more canned goods like our canned vegetables and canned fruits and our rice and tea. We use those on a pretty regular basis. So you can see behind here I have some mugs, and then I have some other dishes, and that's just in the area where you can't get to it easily anyways, but I still needed to store them, and so those are all just hidden back there, and really I don't use them much. But then the other cabinet in the other corner is where I'm keeping a couple of dishes, like pans that we use on a not so regular basis, and then some of our chinaware, and then some of our china dishes on the top. And then the bottom shelf is where I'm keeping all of our medicine. So I was able to pare down to just one little tub here, and then I'm keeping some of our like ones that we want to use on a regular basis up front, and that is working out for our medicine right now. So I wanted to mention that I moved my coffee filters. They were sitting on top of my brown sugar before, and I put them in this glass bowl right beside my coffee grounds and my coffee pot, so they're easily accessible. But while I was filming this part, I noticed that my house plant finally has a little tiny middle piece coming up. Before it had looked like two different plants and it just wasn't filling in, but I finally have a little piece, so I'm excited about that. But I just thank you so much for watching. I hope that has given you inspiration to tackle a space in your home that might need a little reorganizing as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.